Okay, so the hole saw, this is the cutting piece, and it's essentially a saw wrapped into a circle for us. And it's just we're gonna use the pillar drill to get it to spin around, and it's gonna cut a hole. Now with this one, all it can do is cut, and it will cut all the way through. If you don't go all the way through your wood, it will be very difficult to clear the middle work, so you end up with this effect, just a channel. Okay, so you can only use this if you want a hole that goes all the way through. If you don't want your hole all the way through, but you want a large hole, you can cut the base off and glue it back on again. But when you're using this, you'll only get the middle out if you cut it all the way through. Now, to build this and get it into the pillar drill, we need to load it like so, and it's pretty easy, it's just a screw thread. The problem though is when we put it in the pillar drill, it can unspin itself, and so it has in here 2 little holes for 2 little pins. Okay, so the pins I'll show you. The pins are these 2 here, and if I was gripping this and I was turning that, you would see, hopefully, that the pins are winding down. Okay, and that's how it works. And it's very important that you know that, because we've got different sizes of these, and we store them not on the attachment, so that you can take them off and put smaller ones on. So there's a couple here. Alright, we've got a yellow one's quite big, the blue one's already loaded, but it's a smaller one. So what it does is we put it on and screw it down as far as it will go. Then we have to have a look. Then we have to wind it back until we see those pins line up, and carefully wind the pins in. Okay, and you're nearly all going to need to do this, and I don't want to have to show you twice that you need to put those pins in, otherwise it's not safe. Okay, and then you'll see that it's got 5 or 6, got 6 actually. It's like a hex fitting, and we can put it in our 3-jaw chuck by opening it. Sometimes you need to turn it a little bit and make sure it's in there tight, because we don't want that 3-jaw chuck holding onto the corner of one of those hexes. Okay, we want it holding the flat. Then, as ever, you get your chuck key, put your chuck key in the hole and back to lock that tool in there. Now, you'll see I've got a large piece of scrap wood, and that's because there's a drill bit in here, and the drill bit sits lower than the edge of the saw. Okay, and because it's lower, when we've gone all the way through the work with the saw, that drill bit will be way down into the machine bed. We don't want that. So we've loaded up some scrap wood, plenty of scrap wood, and then we've got, thank you, which one do you want, Melvin? That one. We've got our centre marked here by crossing the diagonals, and that is going to need to go on there. And again, I need to set the depth probably to check, will I be able to get down? No. Okay, so the drill bit will go through the wood, but I can't get all of the way down. So in this case, I need to wind the machine bed up. Same again, unlock, and use the handle on this side to raise the machine bed. And if I slide that scrap wood to the side, and I set it so that we're going into the scrap wood, I know I will be through my work. Okay, it's going into the scrap wood, but not as far as the machine bed. That's just about perfectly where I want it. But I need to lock it off and then reposition it. And I'm going to aim the drill bit right on that centre line. And sometimes I have to look from the side as well as the front to make sure I've got it in the centre. And that's in the centre there. The problem at the moment, it's not held. Okay, we're not going to try to hold it against the force of the machine with our hand. We're going to need what?
Clamp.
Yeah, a clamp. We're going to need an F-clamp, and there's usually 1 or 2 down here, but I might get someone to go and grab an F-clamp for me. Josh, over in the far corner, there's an F-clamp. So this could be tricky because we've not got a lot of spare material, and it's really important when I clamp it that I don't put the clamp underneath where these teeth are going to go, because if I do I'll damage the teeth and the clamp and I won't get my job done. So I need to hold it, and potentially I'll need one or two to hold it, and ideally I'll pop in, thank you, ideally I'll put in a piece of scrap wood as well so that I don't damage the top of my work. So I'm just going to fetch a piece of scrap paint stick over here. Now I think you saw me undo the clamp. I never start clamping with this all the way wound up, otherwise I've got nowhere to tighten to, and I can still adjust it plenty. So I'm going to sit it on there. Does it matter if the scrap wood is underneath the hole saw? No. Does it matter if the clamp is underneath the hole saw? Yes. Okay, so we've got it on there, and you can see it's not looking desperately level because I've got it sitting up on that scrap wood, but that's actually pretty secure. Again, covered shoes, hair tied back, goggles on, machine on. Now this one is set to run slow, and that is a good setting, a good gearing for the hole saw because it's even bigger than the Forstner bit, and the outside is spinning really fast. We know when things are spinning fast, they're going to heat things up and apply quite a lot of force, so we're just going to go through this fairly slowly. It can be a noisy job, but I want to not rush. Occasionally as well I wind back up, especially if it's starting to heat up a little bit, and just clear the swarf from there and then keep head back in. One thing I've noticed actually that I didn't notice before is as I clamped, it's lifted here, so we do actually want to put a second clamp on that so that we can finish the job, but the main thing is the building of the hole saw. Happy?